Crystal with Crystal Clear College Planning here. Today, I wanted to talk to you about this concept of social mobility. I know that there's been a lot of talk of, I'm going to say in the news, where people are saying that college isn't worth it, right? And I think that everything, especially statistics, you got to take with a grain of salt, and also understanding the context of where this is coming from. So that is it worth it is totally relative, right? Do we think it's worth it to spend $85,000 per year on an Ivy League education? Some people do. But a lot of us also like to get the best bang for our buck, right? What is that best fit school that's going to have the opportunities to set our kids up for success and make sure that they aren't coming out with a ton of debt, right? Like that's what I do. That is my job. But I think that this also adds kind of like some background too, is like I'm a first generation college student. I had no idea what I was doing when it came to this process, but I was darn sure that I wasn't going to be stuck in my little rural town and be just like everybody else. So I was bound and determined that I would take a different path. And so I did Running Start in high school for junior and senior year full time, and then was able to get my associate's degree, and then did that as a direct transfer agreement, and went to Western Washington University and got my degree in finance. With this whole path, I knew business was something that I was interested in, but I wasn't sure what that end result was going to be, and so I thought finance was really interesting, and I thought maybe being a financial advisor was going to be my path, and it didn't wind up being the case. One of the things that I think is, sorry, there's a cute little blower going on outside, slightly distracting. But when you think about the idea of social mobility, people that are like me, right? Like when I was going to school, I didn't have the help and support. My parents didn't know how the process worked. Counselors were there to help kids make sure that they graduated, not necessarily supporting furthering your education, right? So the trouble tends to be that social mobility is talking about those kids from these rural or other areas, low socioeconomic families, and how an education is going to increase their opportunities for making more money and doing those things that they want to do further in life, right? And that definitely is the case. It doesn't always have to be a 4-year institution, right? It could be community college, it could be tech school, it could be something along those lines. But the realization is that we just need to be an educated society, right? Like that's the point. And then trying to find our passion. And it's just that unfortunate piece is a lot of those first generation students are the ones that are more likely to have stuff come up, not be able to find the money to cover room and board costs, or not having any of that family support, having stuff come up within maybe they're working full time and then having to go to school, right? I was one of those students that did that too. So if you don't have the motivation to make sure that you're going to hack it, then that can be really challenging. And those are the unfortunate statistics that we always hear about. So you really want to think about what is going to be that best fit for your student in regards to that next higher education path, and what's just going to make sure that they are set up for success to determine like what that looks like for them. And there are a lot of great options out there, and I just want to encourage you that college doesn't have to break the bank. There are smart choices to be able to look at those different pathways. And if ever there's conversation that you want to have, you can always feel free to hit my calendar, and I'm happy to talk with you about what those opportunities could be for your student. So I hope that kind of helps give some context as well around just kind of some of that stuff we've been seeing in the news, and really just recognizing that any student has an opportunity to go from the bottom to the top, and it doesn't have to be an Ivy League school in order to do that. So remember, I'm a Western grad. I think I'm doing pretty okay. So follow our YouTube page for more fun tips and information, and we will see you next time.